wide receiver Devontae Adams for Thursday night's showdown game at Seattle. Adams suffered a strained hamstring in Sunday's win over Detroit. The Rams are considering resting Adams for the final 3 regular season games to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy holidays!
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavismiley.com. That's thetavismiley.com or wherever you get your podcast and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, are we in a culture war these days? You better believe we are. But what does the American Revolution have to say to us about cultural battles? What was life like for black folk before, during, and after America's break from the Brits? A conversation with Harvard American history scholar Vincent Brown today in hour 2. In our third hour, 2 conversations. Up first.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas, I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young.
A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear.
Arlene Rexon is former music executive and production coordinator for John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and she will take us inside the recording session for that iconic track, Happy Christmas, War is Over, which included the voices of the Harlem Community Choir. A lot of little black kids on the soundtrack of that song that we hear every Christmas season. So we'll talk to Arlene Rexon about that recording session on the top side of Hour 3. On the B side of Hour 3, glass artist Jason McDonald on how his collab with Solange Knowles put him on the map and his intent now to break down barriers for black craft artists. That's on the backside of Hour 3. But in this first hour, two more conversations. On the B side of this hour, a conversation with Green Party candidate for governor here in California, Butch Ware. But we commence today's show in conversation with American Spectator contributing editor, Daily Signal columnist, and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. Deroy, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Tavis. How are you?
Do the best I can. You know me, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. So I'm doing all right and always delighted to be in conversation with you. I think I want to start with this. I woke up this morning to a number of pieces of breaking news, as I do every day. But it appears that the economy is slowing down. Unemployment is rising. Inflation may just be around the corner. For those who don't want to admit that we're already in it. But this is the wrong message that Americans want to hear around the holiday season, and certainly the wrong timing for Donald Trump, that the economy is starting to crater a bit. What say you at the outset of this conversation about that?
Well, it's great to be with you, and if I've sounded a little hoarse, it's because I've been to about 6 or 7 Christmas parties in about as many days.
I ain't mad at you.
That's the good news. The bad news is I sound like Lauren Bacall, so there we go. Regarding the economy, we got the unemployment figures this morning, and I guess the number of jobs created, I think it was, I believe it was about 65,000, if I remember the number correctly, and I think they were expecting about 50, so apparently the number of jobs created was higher, but then again, the unemployment rate is up at 4.6, which is the highest it's been since, I believe, 2021. I know personally I've got a lot of friends who are looking for work and having trouble finding work, and there's just a general sense of sluggishness. You don't get the sense of people saying, hey, I just got a raise, I got a new job, I got promoted, hey, I'm taking a great vacation. It's more like I'm saving my money, we're dialing back, we're kind of trying to take it a little more slowly. So I think there are a couple of things happening. One is the tremendous uncertainty regarding whether or not President Trump has tariff authority to do what he does on this tariff policy. That is going to be decided by the Supreme Court, and I really hope they'll make a decision one way or the other. I mean, if they support Trump, we can go in that direction. If they don't, he'll have to do something else. The worst thing they can do is wait until June 30th and issue a decision all the way, in the middle of next year, where people aren't going to have any idea, is my steel coming in at $100 a ton or $50 a ton or $175, and what's my tariff rate on this? I mean, we need to get some certainty one way or the other. The other thing I think is more positive is that I think the benefits from the One Big Beautiful tax cut will be kicking in January, and people who work overtime won't be taxed on overtime. If you earn tips, you won't be taxed on that. There's a big deduction for senior citizens in terms of getting their no taxes on part of the Social Security benefits. I think the corporate taxes and the pro-business taxes will kick in, and all that I think will be very good for the economy. I thought when President Trump signed that tax cut that would be either effective July 4 when he signed it, or retroactive to January 20th or January 1st. I guess it will be retroactive, but starting this coming January 1st. So there's been this lag where people have heard about a tax cut, but it really has not taken effect yet. And I think that's something that should have happened immediately. You should be able to get that full benefit at once, whether you're pro or anti-tax cuts, at least have the thing work right away, then have it kind of be in a purgatory for 6 months. So I hope that once that happens, January 1, things will pick up and the economy will be humming along, and that'll be certainly much better for Trump, but more importantly, much better for the whole country.
Just getting started in this first hour with Deroy Murdock, the first half hour to be exact. Not good economic news today as we we're already in the holiday season. It does not portend well for the spending that corporate America is expecting and hoping for during this busiest season of the year. This is the season that so many companies make most of their money, obviously. But not good economic news at the start of this day. And I want to just probe this more with Deroy when we come forward. Donald Trump was elected by those who supported him because they thought he'd be better on the economy. We are told from all kinds of exit polls that was ultimately the deciding issue, certainly one of them, top of the list, the economy. He ain't been such a great steward of the economy. I want to just probe Deroy and why that is. And this notion of tariffs that Deroy raised. Donald Trump said some days ago to the Supreme Court essentially that if you don't support my view and my request and my ask on tariffs, then our national security is threatened. That's kind of lowbrow. to suggest that if the Supreme Court doesn't vote the way he wants them to on his tariff proposal, then our national security is at threat. Not buying it. Just getting started with Deroy Murdock here on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed with Deroy Murdock. Delighted to have him on the kickoff show today. So, Deroy, you recall just a year or so ago when Donald Trump was going head-to-head with Kamala Harris. Those exit polls on Election Day and the days after suggested that the reason why he bested her, one of the reasons why he bested her in that contest, was because people thought he'd be better on the economy. It ain't quite worked out that way.
Well, I think a lot of what he's tried to do has taken some time. Now, the good news is we have seen reductions in the price of things like gasoline. That's down significantly. A lot of other prices have dropped. Some have gone up. Some have stayed kind of flat. I believe the overall inflation rate was about 3% when he came in. It's about 3% now, so it's stayed flat. It's not increased. So I think a lot of us will be happier for that. We're coming down more quickly, but the good news is not getting any worse. But I do, I do believe, as I said earlier, that once the one big beautiful tax cut kicks in and people are able to work overtime and earn tips and earn Social Security benefits and not have them taxed, that will be a big benefit. And a lot of the things like immediate expensing on immediate write-offs on business equipment, that sort of thing, will be very good for the economy. So, and the other thing that I think it's hard to measure because this sort of thing doesn't fall into typical economic models. But when you've got something like $18 trillion in commitments by U.S. and foreign companies to build factories, expand operations, et cetera, et cetera. Sounds like a very, very dramatic pump shot in the arm as those projects come online and that those investments unfold and take effect in the economy. I think that's going to be very, very positive. And I think that's something we've never seen, that infusion of incoming capital in 1 year. I believe under Biden, over 4 years, he got something like $1 trillion or so of those sorts of commitments. And under Trump, it's like $18 trillion in less than a year. And I think that's going to be very dramatic. And as those things unfold, I think that'll be very, very good for the economy. I think people will start seeing a lot of positive relief at that point.
You mentioned earlier that you have a number of friends that you have spoken to who are having difficulty trying to find work in this economy. And I think there are many people that have that sort of testimony. But at the same time, I have been talking to a lot of my friends who happen to be, not unlike myself, small business owners. And Donald Trump, to be clear, has not been good for small business. He may be in favor or have found favor with his billionaire bros, but Silicon Valley and maybe even Wall Street, although I think his record is sort of schizophrenic economically when it comes to Wall Street, but he has not been good for small business. Do you agree, disagree? And if I'm right, and I know I am, what's your read of the fact that he ain't been good for small business in this country?
Well, look, I think that we're coming off of the Biden years where we had a lot of inflation. Obviously, we had slow growth. We had really kind of a sluggish economy for most of those 4 years. Part of that was COVID. I think part of it was policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So a lot of what he's trying to do, I think, will kick in January. I think if the Republicans made any mistake that I would have corrected, and again, I was under the impression that they didn't do this, but this is something that Ronald Reagan experienced when he signed his tax cut. He delayed the full impact of the tax cut until January of 1983, about a year and a half after he signed it. And a lot of people thought, well, if I can save the full 25% of my taxes, I'll just wait until then to open my factory, expand my business, what have you. And so everything kind of got put into kind of paralysis really until then. I think what the Republicans should have done is had the impact of this tax cut to kick in at once rather than coming up basically in 2 weeks, January 1. I think once that happens, I think things will be much more positive. I do think as we've seen prices of energy go down, that's very good for businesses. I know in California where gas is still very high, it's lower than it was before. Someplace in the country, gasoline's down close to $2 a gallon. And if you're saving that kind of money, either as a consumer or as a small businessman or a large businessman, that's a big improvement, especially in the transportation sector in a very energy demanding or energy rich kind of industry. So I think those things have improved. And I think the improvements will accelerate in the year ahead.
Yeah, I think if the election were held today and Donald Trump were on the ballot for re-election, and who knows, if he has his way, he may be. Never mind what the Constitution says. Those who own small businesses would not be in support of him. It is small business that drives the engine called America. And just as, again, Deroy admits that he has friends who are looking for work and can't find it, I got too many friends who own businesses who are just catching hell right about now, thanks to Donald Trump not being, again, the kind of steward of the economy that people thought he was going to be. Let me circle back to the issue of tariffs that Deroy raised a few moments ago. This is beyond heresy. I mean, for the president to suggest to the Supreme Court that if you don't vote my way on these tariffs, it's threatening our national security. Come on, Deroy.
Well, I think there's some truth to that in some places. Now, if you want to say that something like, the tariffs on soybeans obviously aren't going to have any effect on national security, but if you do have tariffs that have an impact on things like rare earths that are used for the defense industry, that certainly affects national security. I do think tariffs can be used in a number of ways. One is actually just to say, okay, here's what the tariff will be on this product on a permanent basis. But certainly can be used strategically, shall we say, to get the attention of people. So you may recall early on his presidency, there were a number of people here in the United States who were illegal alien criminals who were from Colombia, and Trump wanted them out of here and back in Colombia, and the president of Colombia said, I'm not interested, I don't want them back. And Trump said, okay, well, fine, you're going to have a 25% tariff on all Colombian goods. Within a few hours, President Petro, I think is his name, of Colombia, said, okay, we want these people back, and I'm going to send my plane to pick them up. And he sent the Air Force One of Colombia to pick up these guys and bring them back to Colombia. So there's an example where tariffs can be used, not so much to guide trade policy per se, but just sort of as a blunt, intimate trauma to get people to say, all right, President of the United States is serious. We better play ball with this guy, and that's certainly a way that that's worked in terms of national security.
Yeah, plausible but not persuasive. I hear the argument, Drew, but I ain't buying it. Let me move from Colombia to Venezuela. We know the drama that Donald Trump has gotten us in, he and Pete Hegseth, vis-a-vis Venezuela. And to my mind, there are any number of reasons that Donald Trump is, with his approach to Venezuela, is repeating some of the mistakes of the past, and he is going to push us deeper and deeper, further and further into a situation with South America that we don't want to be in. Nonetheless, here's what Donald Trump said yesterday about this Venezuela situation.
Remember when the Democrats and others, the radical left, used to say that the people they're allowing into our country, immigrants, are nice people. They're not violent like our people. Well, they make our people look like babies. These are some of the most violent criminals anywhere on earth from many countries, not just Venezuela. Venezuela emptied their jails into our country, but others have also. The Congo has. So many other countries have. And we don't put up with it. I have to say the drugs coming in by sea are down 94%. And we're trying to figure out who the other 6% are. But they're down 94%, and we're going to start hitting them on land, which is a lot easier to do, frankly. But these are a direct military threat to the United States of America. They're trying to drug out our country. And you could look throughout history. Look at China when they were loaded up with drugs. They were suffering greatly, and others were able to take them over. And other countries also. They're trying to drug out our country, and we're reversing it rapidly, actually.
They're trying to drug out our country, says Donald Trump. Laughable, frankly. But whatever one thinks of the situation, Deroy, my read is that the president who wants to be regarded as a peace president, every other day he's appealing for a Nobel Peace Prize to sit inside his office. So he wants to be a peace president. But he's saber-rattling in the Caribbean. There's no question about that. It appears to me he's got us looking like a bully trying to pick on a weaker opponent. He seems determined to have a military confrontation with Venezuela. You heard him just there, not even ruling out a ground operation inside the country. Many believe this is just about oil, controlling the vast oil reserves that is of Venezuela. But why is he so determined to have a military confrontation with Venezuela?
Well, I think the main concern he has are these boats full of drugs coming to the United States of America. I mean, I think some carry cocaine. There may be fentanyl on some of them. I know that fentanyl kills something like 70,000 Americans per year. That's more American dead in 1 year than all the U.S. GIs were killed in Vietnam throughout the entire Vietnam War. It's about 58,000 or so. I know personally one guy who was a very talented man. He's worked in Silicon Valley. He went on a ski trip. I think he had a little bit of recreational cocaine, and he's now in a box. We think, we're not positive, we think it was laced with fentanyl. He was aged in his 30s and otherwise great shape, and he's dead. So this is just one example, and many, many families where their teenage kids and college kids have thought, hey, let me take a little Adderall to study for finals, or my elbows hurt, let me take a pain pill. They don't understand it's laced with fentanyl, and these people die. It's awful. It's very sad. And this is a huge number, 70,000 a year. So we're trying to put an end to that because there's been so deadly. And I think getting the attention of the Venezuelan government to get them to stop this, in the meantime, stop these boats from coming in, is important. I think it's a matter literally of life and death for American citizens who get wrapped up in this sort of thing and end up dying, in the prime of their lives.
Yeah, again, we just not connecting to Deroy. I ain't buying that either. First of all, there ain't no fentanyl in Venezuela. That is not their drug of choice. I'll let you figure out what is. But fentanyl is not the drug of choice in Venezuela. Number one, I've been there a number of times, and number two, you are restating what we hear all the time about these drug boats, but you do acknowledge that there's been no evidence of that. The American people have been shown no evidence. We've been given no evidence. The video still has not been released. They keep telling us why they're blowing these boats up and killing people, but the line that you're using is the line that we keep hearing, but the American people have seen no evidence of these boats carrying drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I think we found when they've blown these boats up, they've had drugs floating in the ocean where these boats have been detonated. I mean, I don't think they're out fishing for cod or for marlin. And these don't appear to be sport fishermen or people trying to pick up some shrimp for dinner. That doesn't seem to be what's going on here at all.
The other point I raised, though, which is whether it's Venezuela or some other country, why is he itching for a military confrontation? That does not concern that doesn't concern you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm concerned about a ground war in Venezuela, no question. I think part of what he's doing is pressuring Maduro to the point where Maduro may say, look, I don't want an invasion. Either I'm going to stop doing this, I'm going to cooperate. The same way that North Korea became much more friendly and cooperative when they were Little Rocket Man, as Trump called him, basically scared the guy into showing up and negotiating with him. So that may be part of it. Part of it, I think, is just putting a lot of pressure on the situation so that other people who see this think, gee, I think maybe we will stop sending our drugs into the United States because we don't want to get ourselves into trouble. So I think part of the saber-rattling is political pressure as opposed to actual preparation for war per se.
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears. Again, I'm not sure I'm buying that either. It's clear to me that Donald Trump is preparing to seize more of these oil-filled tankers off the coast of Venezuela. We shall see. But again, it's just fascinating to me that every other day he's begging for a peace prize. But saber-rattling in this part of the world, try to juxtapose those two things, I cannot. Let me close with this. I saw a story yesterday, I believe, in The Hill. Headline, fewer MAGA Republicans strongly support Trump. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now after Marjorie Taylor Greene made her move, but the data is starting to suggest, people are going on the record, some with their name, some on background, but there is evidence that the MAGA Republicans are not supporting Trump as strongly as they once did. Are you buying that?
I think there's a little bit of concern that, as we've been saying, the economy is not up and running at full speed as we'd hope, so that maybe is giving people a bit of pause or concern. Mm-hmm. I frankly was not very happy to see the President of the States attack Rob Reiner after he was killed allegedly killed by his son along with his wife. Mm-hmm. If you have nothing good to say about somebody whose throat is slit while he's sleeping, maybe you keep it to yourself. So I think things like that are not leaving people terribly pleased. Does that mean they're going to abandon him completely? Probably not. Does it mean that they're doing cartwheels a little less quickly than before? Maybe. So if I were Trump, I would pick my battles carefully, and doing things like attacking somebody whose politics I disagreed with, but who I admired very much throughout his career as an actor on All in the Family, and as director of Stand By Me and A Few Good Men and so many other great movies. Things like that I think the president ought to avoid. I think he'd be a lot more successful if he always focused on public policy and avoid comments of that sort.
I wish I had time to have a character conversation with you about Donald Trump, but lucky for you, Deroy, I don't have time to have a character conversation with you about Donald Trump. We spent the first couple hours on this program yesterday talking about the Rob Reiner thing. I had the opportunity to interview Rob Reiner many times, and we started yesterday's show playing some audio of one of my many interviews with Rob Reiner. Yesterday I posted some photos. We haven't had a chance yet to pull the audio. I wanted to do it today, but we just couldn't turn around fast enough. But I had a conversation with Rob and his son, Nick, on my show back in 2016 when the documentary Being Charlie came out, loosely based on his son Nick's life and battle with drug use. And so we're still trying to dig that out and maybe bring some audio to you in the coming days. The story sadly has legs, so if we can pull it out quick enough, we'll broadcast for it. But I did post some photos of Rob and Nick and I on set together during that conversation on my socials. And I've seen so many comments from people just looking at his face. I posted a series of photos during that conversation, just looking inside Nick's face. And many have commented he looked troubled even then. But all that stuff is available on my socials. For now, Deroy Murdock, thanks for your insights. Happy holidays to you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Merry Christmas to you and your audience. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Deroy. Appreciate it. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. Los Angeles police say the son of Hollywood director Rob Reiner is responsible for the deaths of his father and mother Michelle. Nick Reiner was booked for murder and is being held without bond. The holidays are upon us, and the United States Postal Service say it's prepared for the shipping rush. Wednesday, as in tomorrow, is the last day to send off your items for them to arrive by Christmas if you're using USPS Ground Advantage or First Class Mail Service. And Trey Songz was arrested in New York City over the weekend. He allegedly punched an employee as the venue was closing. Trey Songz was arrested and charged with third-degree assault as well as second-degree mischief. He has since been released from custody. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A troubling season for the Clippers continues to generate more misery. They lost to Memphis last night, 121-103. 4 straight losses for the Clippers, who now have lost 8 straight at home. The Clippers haven't won a home game since October 31st against New Orleans. The loss to Memphis drops the Clippers to 6-20. If it wasn't for 5-22 New Orleans, the Clippers would be at the bottom of the Western Conference. The Lakers are off until Thursday night in Utah at 18-7. The Lakers have the 3rd best record in the West. Luka Doncic still leads the NBA in scoring with 34.7 points per game. The Rams will not have wide receiver Devontae Adams for Thursday night's showdown game at Seattle. Adams suffered a strained hamstring in Sunday's win over Detroit. The Rams are considering resting Adams for the final 3 regular season games to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
One year ago, flames tore through Altadena and Eaton Canyon, changing lives forever. From the ashes, can a beloved community rise stronger? Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, weekday mornings, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., here on KBLA Talk 1580. And I'm inviting you to join us on Wednesday, January 7th, as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on the 1-year anniversary of this horrific and devastating fire. We're remembering those we lost, celebrating the heroes and sheroes who answered the call, and honoring the resilience of neighbors who are determined to rebuild together.
I've been a strong black woman a long time, and I can't just break down now.
Hear the stories of survival, the voices of recovery, the spirit of community that the fire couldn't destroy, and yes, the angst of those who still do not know where they go from here.
Yeah, where am I go?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we don't just cover the story, we're part of this community, and we've done our level best to hold those responsible for this fire accountable. And 1 year later, we're still standing together.
It is my hopes that black people will rebuild those homes.
So join us live at Perry's Joint, 2051 Lincoln Avenue in Pasadena, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday, January 7th, as we commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. Because some stories demand to be remembered.
This too shall pass.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
You are, and Tavis Smiley is making a hard. We're on two wheels. It's a hard left turn. We go from Deroy Murdock, black conservative Fox News contributor, to a radical progressive Butch Ware, who happens to be the Green Party candidate for governor here in California. Butch, good to see you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to be back with you again.
Is that a hard left?
That's a hard left. And I'll just, we have other things to discuss, but I'm just going to say this. Like, my mom is here in the studio. We've talked about how she's a big fan. Yeah. But I'm going to quote my dad as a transition from that last guest. My dad, locksmith, brilliant man, but only had a 6th grade education. So he'd often, express things in a rough way. Yeah. And he once said, listening to a black conservative on the television, he says, "Son, you'll never go broke telling white folks what they want to hear."
Yeah, there you go. You will never go broke. It's funny you should say that. I was in a conversation the other day about my own financial fortunes or lack thereof. And some friends of mine and I were laughing, like I said, "Tavis, you'd be so much wealthier if for the last 30 plus years of your career, you had taken all the skill set that God has blessed you with and advanced that message."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And if you had just done a soft shoe instead, but I will say this: he did give me something to work with, because on the way out he said something that's true, and you pressed him on it, which is the reality is that people are getting tired of that song and dance, even inside that conservative echo chamber.
That's right.
People are seeing through this fraudulent, orange fascist. People are tired of it, and we're at this point now where this is a hard turn to the left. You're talking to somebody that's like actually steeped in the black liberation tradition. I'm not going to give you that soft shoe, but it's a moment where people are ready to hear it, because the frustration on the right with this insanity, and the frustration amongst liberals with the lack of performance from the Democrats. Like, both of these parties are at record low approval rates right now. And it just shows that there's like a real crisis in the political status quo. So there's definitely an opportunity for somebody that's coming from outside the system to make a difference and an impact in this moment.
I see the opportunity, and while I'm not naive, Gavin Newsom's on his way out. He right now is rapidly, wildly popular with the Democrats in this state. I saw some poll numbers the other day. He's popular across the country. As I said before, I don't think he has a chance of winning or being competitive in any red states because of his agenda, if he decides to run, including he wants to run for president. Yeah. But we're in a moment right now where Democrats in California seem to be happy with the way he is leading the Democratic Party. Here you come as a Green candidate. How do you tap into that, or how do you frame your argument in that kind of environment? Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, what I've seen is that people nationwide have been responsive, at least those that are kind of steeped in the Democrat politics, with the fact that Gavin will appear to fight back in public. But if you actually have conversations with folks inside the state of California about how the state of California has been run, there is massive disillusionment with the way that the Democrat regime has governed the state itself. So Gavin keeps getting points for performative politics and fighting back against Trump. When his social media manager came on with certain kind of clapbacks, when he does performance like, come pick a fight with me instead of picking, and that kind of optics and theatrics gets attention, but he's running for office on a national stage. And it was similar with the Prop 50 vote. Prop 50 was literally the Democrats spending $300 million of the state's taxpayer dollars and then running tens of millions of dollars of advertisement in order to get something through that was just part of Gavin Newsom's presidential campaign, because that redistricting doesn't affect anything for people inside the state of California. He's using the state of California as a pawn on his chessboard in a national fight between Republicans and Democrats and as part of his aspirations. So inside the state, and I've been up and down the state from San Diego to Humboldt, there's massive disaffection with the way that the Democrats have actually run the state. So there's a great lane. And then the last thing I'll just say about this is that I think that people have a lot of misconceptions that come from the way that this conversation is constructed in the media. To this day, 40% of American voters identify themselves as independents. Only 30% identify as Democrat, 25% identify as Republican. And when you poll even registered Democrats, 53% of them say both parties do such a, quote, poor job that we need an independent third party. That's 48% of Republicans saying the same thing, and 70% of independents say that. So the reality is that the talking points in the corporate-controlled media are going to be about blue versus red. But on the ground, people are fed up with Team Blue genocide and Team Red fascism because they both work for the same corporations, and people really want new options in politics. That's why Zoran, for example, was so successful in his campaign in New York.
Two things.
Yes, sir.
Your commentary notwithstanding, and yet, yeah. An independent party in this country has still not been able to get off the ground with any, in a robust sort of way.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
We're competing uphill against people that are swimming in blood money. I mean, these are, you got to understand, like Kamala was able to spend $1.5 billion, whereas, we were being outspent, 1,000 to 1. So they control, most of the media outlets and are able to shape the conversations in significant ways. But I will say this, like, people forget that a Green Party candidate almost ended Gavin Newsom's career before it started. Matt Gonzalez got 47% of the vote for mayor in San Francisco, despite the fact that he was outspent 30 to 1. And right now, so we just had polling come out that shows that I'm running even with a bunch of the establishment Democrat candidates, Betty Yee, Tony Thurmond, all those folks, and ahead of some of the other Democrat candidates, despite the fact that we're being massively outspent, because we're doing the work on the ground and we're responding to this moment by not doing like a fake culture war between, so-called left and so-called right, and instead focusing on, universal single-payer health care, affordable housing, taxing the billionaires and taking the pressure off of working-class families in the state. And everywhere I go up and down this state, people are responding to that message, and now you're starting to see it reflected in the polls as well.
When you said earlier that Prop 50 does nothing for the people here in California,
Yeah.
how do you respond to those who say, not so fast, Butch? If it does anything to hold the line on Republican redistricting efforts, if it does anything to hold the line on going deeper down the rabbit hole when it comes to gerrymandering, then we are citizens of this country, even though we live in the state of California, so that we would in fact benefit from that.
Fred Hampton said it best. He said, "We don't believe you fight fire with fire best. We believe you fight fire with water best. You do not fight disenfranchisement with disenfranchisement. You fight it with ranked choice voting, multi-member district, and proportional representation." And the Democrats have fought those things tooth and nail the same way that the Republicans have, because their goal is not actually to restore democracy to the people. Their goal is to consolidate their own power. So for me, and they don't want things that make the process more open, because as soon as you take proportional representation, then winner takes all is out of the equation, and they can no longer do the lesser of two evils argument. They can no longer be a corporate party that is just a little to the left of the Republicans and then say, oh, well, you can't vote for those guys, because now you can actually, vote your conscience and make sound choices. So for me, it's just more of the same from Team Blue. And I'll say that this way also, like for me, independent of that, for me, they both have the same corporate donor base. I'm not rooting for either side in that group. I'm rooting for the people. Yeah.
So Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland, was on this program just a week or so ago. And believe it or not, Butch and Jamie are on the same page in this regard, on ranked choice voting. I want to talk about that when we come forward, because I asked Jamie specifically, and I want to ask Butch the same question and give him a chance to just drill down a little more on this. My read of ranked choice voting in the way that it has been employed in this country in certain spaces is that it does open the door and give great opportunity for people of color and for those who aren't steeped in that corporate money that you raised a moment ago. So we're talking about ranked choice voting and why that may be the answer to the prayer into the future to save this democracy. You're listening to the Green Party candidate for governor in California, professor at UC Santa Barbara, Butch Ware, on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I got the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Butch Ware, the Green Party candidate for governor here in California. There is some breaking news here. It doesn't surprise anybody who's listening to this program over the last few months. But it is official. House Speaker Mike Johnson has said he will not call a vote to extend enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, which effectively guarantees that they will expire at the end of this month. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Premiums are about to go through the roof. Now, I take you back just a few weeks ago, essentially, when Democrats in the Senate, those defectors, said that they promised us a vote, yada, 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 yada.
They got a handshake and a smile, Tavis.
Yeah,
Come on.
we told y'all then that was a bunch of nonsense, but now Mike Johnson, the Speaker, has said moments ago that he will not call for a vote to extend enhanced subsidies under the ACA, better known as Obamacare, which means that premiums will expire, the guarantees for holding those prices where they are right now expire at the end of this month, which means, again, that these premiums are going to rise through the roof. Butch Ware?
So, I mean, we said this at the time that the Democrats were only pretending to put up a fight through the November election so that they could appear to be an opposition party. And then as soon as they got some of the results that they wanted, then they folded like a cheap suit. And you got to understand that this is what they're always going to do. It's performative resistance. It's not real. And I got to say something, and this is, from Malcolm, from the liberation tradition. Malcolm said to our people, to black people, about the Democrats, he said, you put them first and they put you last. And that makes you a chump. That makes you a political chump. Well, that case that Malcolm made in 64 to our people, look at how they are chumping working class people. Your premiums are going to double. They didn't care. They took away your SNAP benefits so that they could play political games with Trump so that they could get a few extra votes in an election, and then they folded. And then why? And even worse, if you want to go backwards, why do we even have so-called Obamacare, which has these high premiums that are going to these insurance companies? Because Obama sold out on single-payer universal health care, which was what we wanted him to do. And so every time we put a progressive agenda in the hands of the Democrats, they come back to us with this nonsense. And our people, black people, because I know black folks are going to be listening to this show, we have to ask ourselves the question, how long are we going to keep this party on life support when we understand that they can't win a race for dog catcher without getting 80 to 90% of the black vote? And yet, what do we get in return for it? Do they ever deliver on the promises that they make to us?
Let me ask you right quick here.
Yes, sir.
Watching my time. Again, I have had my own commentary about the spineless milquetoast Democrats in any number of conversations on this program, so I don't need to underscore that. People know where I stand on Democrats needing to grow a pair, so to speak. But in this regard, it is possible that Republicans could be shooting themselves not just in the foot, but in the head. It is their constituency. It's these MAGA folk who need health care, require health care as much as anybody else. And so when you refuse to call a vote to extend these enhanced subsidies, guaranteeing these premiums are about to rise, that's going to hit Donald Trump's base as well.
But the thing is that that's a base that's been conditioned to vote against its interests the same way that black voters have been convinced to vote with Democrats.
I don't mean to put too much on, but
No,
this is now a life and death issue, though.
It's been
if you can't afford your health care.
It's been a life and death issue for them. They've they voted. You've seen some Latinos for Trump literally vote to get themselves deported. Like, we have people that will vote directly against what's in their best interest because they have been persuaded by this culture war that the media is maintaining. We got to do better for working people.
There's your breaking news. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, again, in case you've just tuned in the last 2 minutes, has said that he will not call a vote to extend enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, which means that they will expire at the end of this month, which means that premiums, including yours truly, my own premiums, are about to go up right now. So I ain't happy about this news, and none of you are
Ain't none of us happy about it.
Ain't nobody happy about this. Our remaining moments of Butch Ware, we'll talk about ranked choice voting right quick and later make the case for why he's running for governor here in California as the candidate for the Green Party. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more. all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Butch Ware. I've got 4 minutes left. I give it all to him. Ranked choice voting and why you're running for governor of California as a Green Party candidate.
I mean, with respect to ranked choice voting, is crucial. It's just one of many democratic reforms that the Green Party has been running on forever, because this is a party that exists to restore power to the people and to take it out of the hands of the corporations. And just on that specific piece of ranked choice voting, it was crucial actually in allowing Zoran Mamdani to defeat the establishment candidates in New York City. Here in the state of California, we don't really have it yet, but we don't need it for the gubernatorial election. And the reason is that the duopoly has set this up with a jungle primary. Only the top 2 candidates are going to advance. 6-2-2-6. June 2nd, 2026 is when that primary takes place. And that is normally going to get 1 blue versus 1 red, reproduce the status quo. Except in the state of California, this state leans so far to the left, there are more registered independents than there are registered Republicans. This is a group that is vulnerable to an attack from a progressive candidate. And we do not need to get 50% of the vote in a primary the way that Zoran did. We need to get about 20% of the vote on June 2nd, because it has never been more than about 20% of the vote they got second place. So why am I saying this? Even if you don't believe the Green Party can win, which would you rather have? Me versus the corporate Democrat, or the corporate Democrat chasing a Republican candidate to the right? We can get the Republicans out of the race on June 2nd and just make this an actual run for the people. Even if you think I can only push the Overton window and can't win, which would you rather have? The Democrats chasing the Republicans, or them having to have a substantive conversation about universal health care? And the last thing that I'm going to say about this is just specifically for Black folks. How long are we going to let them do us, the Democrats, I mean, like the vampires from Sinners? How long are we going to let them suck our blood, because we are the only thing keeping this party alive? And they are going to keep pointing and saying the bad guy's over there. The bad guy is Trump. But the sheep is going to live its entire life living in fear of the wolf, only to be consumed by the shepherd. They are going to keep fear-mongering you about that wolf over there so that they can keep you close. It is time for our people to get off the Democrat plantation and go for real Black liberation politics. That's what I'm running on.
He ran with Jill Stein on the ticket for president and vice president in the last election. He is now the Green Party candidate for governor here in California. He is also a professor at UC Santa Barbara. His name is Butch Ware. Butch, all the best to you. Happy holidays. Give my love to your mother. And thanks for coming on the program.
Appreciate you, brother, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News. Now, Los Angeles police say the son of Hollywood director Rob Reiner is responsible for the deaths of his father and mother Michelle. Nick Reiner was booked for murder and is being held without bond. The holidays are upon us, and the United States Postal Service say it's prepared for the shipping rush. Wednesday, as in tomorrow, is the last day to send off your items for them to arrive by Christmas if you're using USPS Ground Advantage or First Class Mail Service.